Hello once again to GamingAlimonda. This is the restarted race for round 7 of season 19 for PSGL F1 tier, and we are just waiting to get underway again. Unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties with the first run, but the custom grid will be based off qualifying from the first stream earlier. And good evening to you, Bakers. Hope you're doing okay, Game Freaker, and everyone else who's rejoined the stream. And yeah, every subscriber much appreciated. And yeah, have had a few recently. It's been good, but I have been quite enjoying making all this content. Now, qualifying, we had Liquorbox and Ash Best on the front row, and we saw some really good battling between them and Cliffy. Hopefully Skeevan, who's got a bit of luck here, can avoid wing damage, so we can get a real four-way scrap at the front, because that would be good. So obviously the first race was binned off, but your impressions of that race until the lobby collapse, who was impressing you out there, JP?
Yeah, I was really enjoying it. Some great racing within the top four. So yeah, I mean, my impressions of it is, but Lico has got a bit of a mammoth task in his hands. But one thing, he's going to have to get another great start like he did in the last one. But he's going to have to try and pull out a second gap, so he can break that DRS detection point. But during that race, Ash Best got past Lico, and then Lico just retook him again. So it's all very well getting past somebody, but you got to break the DRS detection. Otherwise, you're just going to get mugged in the next DRS zone.
Indeed. To answer your question, Bakers, yeah, we just had a complete lobby collapse. Frame rate dropped for everybody. So essentially, just a lag spike. We had, I believe, Jamie desynced, so that probably started it because he wasn't putting up any times on the screen. So, yep. Hashtag Codemasters, and I will say nothing more on that because we're going to hopefully get a good 26 lap race. In terms of those who retired before the problem started, they will get a stay of execution and a second opportunity. Yeah. This does not happen often. Yeah. The HELLBOY retired in the first session, so he will get a second go at it. And those who had bad starts last time, well, who knows? It could really change the very shape of this race. But hopefully, people like JD who made good starts from the back, they'll be pretty disappointed with that restart, but can't be helped. So let's have a quick look as we have just under 20 seconds to go. Everybody on top 10 has to be on the same tyres.
One person to look out for in the race would be JackLacey. He's the first one, I believe, to start on the soft compound.
He's 10th, so he'll have to start on super soft. So then, countdown.
I don't know. Okay, carry on.
So then, 5 red lights. Once again, Lickle versus Asbest on the front row. Skeevan, Cliffy behind, and away we go. Take 2, action. And Lickle gets a good start again, and this time Cliffy and Skeevan go side by side behind, and the hand goes up from the Mercedes driver. I think everyone gets through okay this time. And Cliffy, Cliffy slips. Did he get wing damage there? I think he made slight contact with the wall, but I think he may have got started. And look at behind all these cars. Oh, what the hell? And there's contact galore going on behind in the midfield.
Yeah, I've seen some carbon fibre far, but I can't quite see what it is.
You know, my memory might be wrong, but I don't think JackLacey was 10th. I'm pretty sure he was outside the top 10.
Where's Big C on your screen?
Big C is in 16th.
Oh, he's in 17th, but he's not in 17th. He's behind one of the Force India drivers.
I think it might be.
He's corrected now. He's corrected now. He's in 10th.
Okay, but he wasn't showing a time for a second. That's not a good sign. Right. Let's get into business. So Lickle leads, Asbest second, Skeevan in third. Cliffy, I think Cliffy might have wing damage, you know, because he's dropped back behind Skeevan. And AMS is up to 5th. Aaron in 6th, under pressure from JD. Oogie's got wing damage, half his wing gone. So he's going to drop back. He's under pressure from his Force India teammates who will stay with them for the next few seconds. He's now going to attack Oogie around inside. Oh, and look at that behind! We got contact between Big C and around the outside. Was trying to go outside the Oogie, and there was contact. Oogie's dropped right to the back. Dear. Disastrous for Big C. I don't know, that looked like a strange incident. I just don't know, I just get a feeling that we might get a restart shortly, but hopefully I'm wrong. And that was just a legitimate incident. Asbest. Well, Oogie sort of saw his teammate, but I can only assume he switched back to where JackLacey was and didn't see Big C. So Big C pits for new wing, and as does Oogie. So lots more position changes, unlike last time.
Go on.
See the tyres that they're on. So mediums for Oogie, softs for HELLBOY and Lewis. So 2 pits off so far. Yeah, what were we going to say?
Yeah, well, 2 things. I was going quickly to say, I believe Ash is carrying a penalty from the Big C from the last race, but also as well, I'm 90% sure that JackLacey was on the soft tyres in the last race.
Yeah, he started in 10th in the second race, which I think is incorrect. So
he was on the soft tyres. I'm sure he was.
You know, it's
I made a note of it.
You know, it was up to whoever to get the grid right. So you know.
Anyway, we'll carry on.
We'll have to keep going. So Asbest just under a second behind. Cliffy has really dropped back from Skeevan, so I'd be amazed if he doesn't have wing damage, because he showed really good pace in the first race. AMS up to 5th. Nice job from the Red Bull driver. We've got JD in 6th, Aaron in 7th, JackLacey in 8th, Jamie in 9th, and there's quite a lot of changes of position going on. There's a nice little side-by-side battle between Greeny and HELLBOY. No love lost between those two. And around it all, a bit of contact. And a good job from HELLBOY to dispose of Greeny. And look, right behind, we got Lewis, W03, who finished on the podium last week. He backs off. Oh, and Greeny attacks the wall, and Lewis says thank you very much and moves up to 12th. So Asbest beginning to put a little bit of pressure on Nico ahead. Or Skeevan, he taps the outside edge of the end of the cars section. I think he was very lucky to get away with no damage there. Cliffy.
Yeah, we haven't got that four-way battle from the last race, but so I would say it's important for Lico and Asbest to pull out the gap while they can, because if Cliffy gets past Skeevan, then he's going to hunt these guys down. But Cliffy is 2 seconds back now from Skeevan, so I think you're probably right. He must have some wing gaps from somewhere.
Yeah, I think he's got damage, because he had as good pace as the two who are currently in the top 2. He's dropping back from Skeevan.
Asbest looking for a move on the outside.
Yes, indeed, Asbest through the slipstream sets the fast lap, but Lickle's going to have the inside, so he should be able to defend it. Can Asbest get the switch back? Not for now, but he's going to get another shot at it. Lap 4, DRS activated on the previous lap. And Cliffy pits. Is that a wing change? Let's confirm that. And it is indeed. The championship leader. He's not going to have it his own way this time. He goes onto the mediums, and they'll easily go to the end of the race.
Asbest on the inside, but Nickel Nickel gets a great drive out the corners, I have to say. Keeps him in front, I think.
Yeah, for Asbest, that's as close as he's got to getting in the lead of this race. He's already won a race this season, back at Malaysia in the second round. Then he had a podium in Monaco, 2 non-finishes at Brazil and Austria, so his form's been patchy this season. He's 5th currently in the championship with 33 points. Lickle blocks his form very similar as well. 3 non-finishes, but 2 third places, 1 at Brazil and 1 last week at Canada. So, if Lickle blocks finishes in the top 2, at least it will be his best result of the season up to this point. And his very quick teammate and the reigning F2 champion Lewis is nowhere in comparison. He's in 10th position. So he's not going to be under threat from his teammate, you would have thought.
Yeah, so ironically, the two F2 protagonists last season are now teammates in F1. But going back to Ash Best, I would say that win in Malaysia was his the most intelligent victory I've seen all season.
Ash Best getting excellent slipstream, and the DRS is only going to add to his top speed. And this is going to be a much harder task for Littleblox to defend. He's going to try and go to the inside and go late on the brakes. And he goes late, but he gets Ash Best gets the switch back, and he's going to have the inside for turn 2. And I think he's going to have this move done for now.
But have a DRS now.
Indeed. As we go on board with the Haas driver. This time he learned his lesson in the last race. Ash Best going to the inside. He's left the door open again. And that's going to allow Lickle to have a move down the inside, and side by side they go. Battle between a Haas and a McLaren for a lead of the race, something you'd never see in real life, at least from based off last season. But it's giving us great entertainment here so far. Lap 5, and Skeevan has closed to within 1.5 seconds to second place. So if these two take each other out, Skeevan will have a comfortable advantage to JD.
Yeah, so this track in its nature is when it has two DRS zones very close together, you're almost going to keep swapping places all the time until someone, like I said, breaks that DRS detection.
Well, Ash Best, you know, he closed the door and then he opened it again. I know why he's trying to move back, but he should have just kept to the inside. It would have slowed him down, but you know, Littleblox would have had nowhere to go, so he would have maintained the place, because now he's going to try and do it all over again. Or maybe wait for the second DRS zone.
Yeah, that might be a better tactic.
Skeevan getting ever closer, just over a second behind Ash Best, not quite in DRS range. Just looking down the order at the moment, JD in 4th, AMS in 5th. They're in 6th, but now Ash Best is getting closer once again, and they're going side by side down the main straight to begin lap 6. This is an intense battle that could go lap after lap here. And once again, Lickle has the inside, but look at Ash Best, he gets much better traction out of turn 1, and he takes it at turn 2, but now can Lickle come back to him? But no, I think this time Ash Best got excellent power down on this second straight, and I don't think Lickle's going to be able to dive up the inside this time. So Ash Best for now the lead of this race.
I think there was slight contact in that first move. I saw the hand of Lickle go up, but nothing too major, I don't think.
It might be the angle that I've got, but Lickle may have just chipped off a couple of end plates on the right hand side. That would compromise him considerably. Skeevan must be loving this. He's just hoping, come on guys, you just take each other out and give me the lead of this race. You know, he won't want to win that way, but deep down he'll be like, I hope it happens. So Lickle runs wide.
Yeah, struggling a little bit there.
Yeah, it looks, I think he has got a couple of end plates missing. It's probably like bright green damage. It's not critical, but it is going to affect him a little bit. So through the end of sector 2 and then onto the main straight. Now Skeevan is within DRS range of Lickle, but Lickle's going to have DRS as well to sort of cancel it out. So can Lickle come back at Ash Best to retake this lead? It's not really close enough.
He might have another chance in the other detection zone.
Yeah, he is getting closer, but Ash Best doesn't feel the need to go defensive, which I think is correct, because I think unless... Oh, Lickle! Oh, he's definitely chipped off wing now. He goes braking all wrong, and that has damaged the right side of his wing further still. He saw a little piece just chip off. So Lickle, once again, when he's in a position for a really good top 2, sort of compromising himself a little bit. Still quite early in this race. He's going to have to get his wing changed for the one and only stop. He does. So he's going to have to suffer for a few laps. This should allow Ash Best to start getting a little gap out. Now, I'm going to have a look down the order. So Aaron is in 6th, I mentioned earlier. Then JackLacey over 4 seconds further back. Joel in 8th. Jamie in 9th, the reigning champion. Lewis in 10th. And Maxi in 11th. It's just not really doing the business. And at the moment, Mercedes, amazingly, not on to score any points whatsoever. The current constructors leaders. Ferrari, unfortunately, are not really going to take advantage of that because Big C is down at 15th and Jamie only 9th. So Mercedes Constructors League will still be pretty safe at this stage.
So, yeah, so Haas, we've got him in 2nd and 10th in a minute, so they're going to score some decent points to maybe close the gap. In terms of pit stops, I would expect the front runners to come in roughly about 10, 11, 12.
Yeah, it might go a little bit further than that, but look, Jamie's just moved up to 8th past Joel, so there's a nice little midfield scrap here.
Little pits.
And Lickle does indeed pit.
So that's a shame. I'd say that's probably his chances of a victory gone, I'm afraid.
I think so.
If I'm wrong.
But look at this. Lewis, his other Haas teammate, is on the move, right on the gearbox. Oh, and Jamie pits. We could have had a free wide there for a second. And switching back, Lewis to the inside. But unable to get past Joel, but Joel gets a poor exit from 1. I think Lewis will set this up for turn 3. But yeah, good recovery from Joel. Switches to the inside straight away. Closes the door. So we got Voltex, Lickle, AMS, Jamie and Greeny all in the pits. Lickle's come out in 10th place, ahead of Cliffy. So we have this battle here for 6th, 7th and 8th, nose to tail. And we got another pit stop for Greeny. Yeah, he's out and he's dead last. I think Oogie's about to take him. So Joel holding up arguably 2 quicker drivers behind him.
At the minute, it's a great run for Aaron and JD in 3rd and 4th places there.
Yeah, they're just keeping out trouble, and sometimes that's all you need to get a good result, not necessarily speed. JD and Aaron, as we know, is one of only 2 drivers on the grid at the moment who scored a point in every single race, Cliffy being the other one, but that's under threat. He's currently in 11th position, although he's on the medium tyres, so he won't have to pit again. But you may have to hope for some more problems for the people in front of him, because he's 5.6 seconds behind Lickle, who has pitted already. So, right behind Lewis, looking for a move for 6th place. Joel goes defensive, and Maxi pits. So around the outside, can he get it?
Joel, goes deep.
Joel, yeah, indeed, JP goes deep, and that's a relatively comfortable move in the end for Lewis. Put him under pressure, and the Renault driver cracked. So the 2 Voltex teammates, 9th and 10th, and hello to you, Curtoys. Yeah, we had to rerun the race because we had a complete lobby failure. Frame rate dropped for everybody. So this is the 2nd stream, based off the qualifying.
At the front, Ash Bass is putting out a bit more of a gap ahead of Skeevan now. It's over 2 seconds now, so it's comfortable time at the minute for Ash Bass.
Yes, it is indeed. He can sort of pick when his time to pit, really. He won't be pitting for a few laps yet, I would suspect. So JD, currently, provisionally, at least, on for a podium. And Aaron, who pretty much never gets penalties, don't rule out a podium for the former 3-time champion. Just seeing if there's any battles on track at the moment. It's sort of settling down. Some people still to pit. Let's just see who hasn't pitted yet. So everybody in the top 8 hasn't pitted yet. One stop will be absolutely dominant here. You lose quite a lot of time here, between 28 to 30 seconds pit stop time. Yeah, there's not really now. Looks like Maxi is closed back.
JackLacey pits.
So Maxi on the back of Jamie, the reigning champion, and JackLacey pits. Be interesting to see where he ends up. But we're going to stick to this battle between Mercedes versus Ferrari. Top 2 in the Constructors' Championship, every point might count. And Maxi pulls alongside Jamie, and this is going to be a comfortable move, assuming he gets his braking right. So Jamie's going to know he's not going to come back, and that's a comfortable move. JackLacey then coming out of the pits. Big C will go around him as well. So XJackLacey out in 14. He might have started in the wrong position, but it hasn't really helped him. He's currently in 14. So Ash Best looking pretty good for his second win, but there's a long way to go. We're only on lap 10 of this 26th lap PSGL F1 Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It's been a different sort of race to how the first stream started, but it's been the second restart has been clearly most beneficial to Ash Best and Skeevan.
Yeah, it's disappointing for us and the viewers really that Lico had that green damage, because that was a tasty little battle really, and it's a shame it's come to an end.
Yes, it is a shame, but there is still pit stops to come, and I think the battle.
Ash Best pits.
Ash Best pits then. So, what's he going to go on? The Skeevan pits as well, and they both avoid getting a penalty. JD pits as well, and does hear it. So the top four all pitting. Softs gets held up slightly by the Toro Rosso, but that shouldn't hurt him at all. Lewis. So Lewis will take the lead in this race for now, but he hasn't pitted yet. So flurry of activity in the pit lane then. HELLBOY up to 4th. So we've got Joel in the pits, so the Renault's double stacking slightly, be a bit of a delay. But well, Maxi sets the fastest lap with a 43.030. So lots of changes at the moment. Ash Best 4 seconds behind Lewis, but with the fresh tyres you would expect him to catch up quickly. So AMS currently in 8th position, haven't talked about him much. And Cliffy pits again. Yeah, so Cliffy pits again, but I think he clearly gave up on those medium tyres and he switched to the softs. But the championship leader flat last. The only good thing is his nearest rival is also outside the points. So that comfortable cushion coming in handy. But Cliffy's run of 4 podiums in a row coming to an end, unless there is an almighty miracle for him.
Interestingly, I'm on board with Lico in a minute, and judging by the telemetry, it seems he's getting a game, which I'd be surprised about the case.
Oh, Jamie, the reigning champion, out of the race. What's happened to him?
In the castle section.
He has been. Oh, and Greeny has crashed as well.
And Greeny, oh my god.
Oh, it's pandemonium in the castle section. Jamie out, Big C out as well. So both Ferraris out of the race. That is in the run-up to the end of Sector 2 for Big C. So both Ferraris out of the race. It's a disaster for their bid to be Constructors Champions this season. Big C, of course, one half of the Constructors Champions with QPR Beast last season. And he's going to miss at least the next race, maybe 2. But that is a shocker.
So from what I can tell, Jamie and Greeny both retired in the council section.
They did.
Big C just bit past the castle section, I believe. I'm not quite sure. They couldn't open the camera angle, but
I feel sorry for Greeny because he came into the castle section and Jamie's Ferrari was there, having just retired. He had nowhere to go, so you know he didn't have any chance.
Yeah, that's an interesting feature from the difference between this game and the last game. That the cars don't seem to ghost as much when they crash. So if you're right behind them, you're going to run into them. Interestingly enough though, Lico is right behind HELLBOY, which is never a good sign.
XJackLacey gets a penalty. We haven't seen many penalties so far. But yeah, Lico versus HELLBOY could be quite an intriguing little battle given their history from that F2 finale last season.
I think Lico's lost some wing.
He did. He slipped into the wall just before the end of Sector 2 and he's compromised himself again. But HELLBOY runs wide. Is he? Oh, HELLBOY's missing a chunk of wing himself.
It must have been him then. It might have been him. I wasn't sure. I saw a couple in front of 5 somewhere.
And side by side goes the Williams and the Haas, but I think well, the Williams definitely. But yeah, Big C was distracted by his teammate's crash, so there weren't any issues with the lobby again. So, so this is an incredible situation, and this is probably PSGL pub quiz trivia. for you people watching, when was the last time Big C retired 2 races in a row? That must have been a long time ago. HELLBOY pits then. We got some nice midfield battles warming up here. JD catching Lickle, who's got wing damage. So this could be a good day for those who aren't typically towards the front, as Cliffy sets a blistering fastest lap at this stage, lap 13. So we're at half distance then.
So Ash Best ever so slightly closing on this now. Not as quick as we thought it would be, but it is ever so slightly closing in.
Yeah, but it's comfortable for Ash Best. Lewis is the only person who hasn't stopped so far. 3 retirements and 14 running. Major stories from this one. Cliffy looks on course to fail to score points for the first time this season. His nearest rival out of the race, and the reigning champion as well in terms of the retirements. And well, Big C may not have ever retired twice in a row, so this could be a first. But up ahead, JD behind Lickle, who's got that wing damage which he suffered the last lap. So JD on for a brilliant result here if Lickle has to pit again. JD's best result of the season so far, 6th place in Austria, which in fact is his only finish of the season. He's had 5 retirements out of 6. So this would be an incredible upturn in form for JD. I know some of those non-finishes haven't been his fault, but it's not been a great season for him up to this point. JD is going to do everything he can, but Lickle under pressure. And Lickle is just going to let JD pass. So I think Lickle is going to be pitting at the end of this lap, and he's going to tumble down the order.
So if you count Big C's next 2 races, he's not going to be on the grid. He's going to have 4 races where he's not going to score points.
Well, I think any chance of an 8th world title have vanished in the last 2 races, including this one, especially now given the absences. But Big C may play a factor late in this season if anyone can get close to Cliffy. So Cliffy, in some ways, has had quite a fortunate race. He's had a pretty disappointing race by his recent eye standards, but it's not going to really damage him that much. It's not often you have a race like that and you get away with it. So Jack Lacey right on the back of Joel. This is the closest on-track battle. So we saw JD move up to 4th. No, go for it.
I was just going to say, it'd be interesting to see where Lewis comes out after he's made his pit stop.
Yes, indeed. He's sort of kept quiet, but he's going long into the race, so he's going to be on super soft at the end. So his pace, so long as he doesn't get caught behind someone, it's going to be electric. And Joel gets a very terrible exit out the penultimate corner, and that's going to allow Jack Lacey, the former PSGL F1 champion, nearly gets alongside. But he was running out of road there before the kink, so he decides not to risk it, because now he should get the DRS open. He's going to go in for a move. And Lickle pits then, so the man who finished on pole position in qualifying in the first half of the broadcast is going to be dropping out of the points seemingly. And surprisingly, Joel actually kept ahead on the straight, so decent straight line speed from his setup for the Renault. Yeah, Jack Lacey has no wing damage, so that's not the problem. So where does Lickle come out? He comes out ahead of HELLBOY. He'll probably be happy about that at least. He's come out on the super softs.
We're in a second of Lewis now.
Indeed he is, so we're going to switch to the battle for the lead of this race, but I suspect Lewis will be pitting soon. So Ash Best then, it's gone marvellously for him. Up to this point, he's still got quite a few laps to get done. 26 laps in total. So the order then: Lewis, Ash Best, Skeevan, JD, Maxi, Iran, AMS, Joel, Jack Lacey and Voltex Lickle make up the top 10. So Lickle's made short work of Paudie to get back into the top 10, but he's 15 seconds behind Jack Lacey.
Lewis
so
pits. Lewis pits.
Lewis does indeed pit. I think he's going to be probably somewhere between 5th and 8th position. judging by the time. So Ash Best then takes the lead, and he's got a comfortable near 4-second gap, and Skeevan has a massive gap to JD. So JD, look at this, what a story this is. JD is running in 3rd place, and he's got a 5-second gap to Maxi. They're both on the same tyres, but what a result this would be.
There's an epic battle between Aaron and AMS going on, and Lewis has come up behind that battle. Yeah,
Lewis comes out in 7th, so let's switch to this battle in the midfield, which has been furiously fought.
Aaron goes wrong. Aaron hits wrong.
And yeah, Aaron's lost swing, and down the inside. Oh, I'm not sure Aaron. And look at Lewis. Lewis is going to try and go down the inside of AMS. I don't think Aaron should have closed the door like that, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
and now look at this. Superior traction on those super softs, and he should get the move done here. I think, to be honest, I think both the Red Bull got away without wing damage by the looks of it, but Aaron closing the door, he's got wing damage now.
That's a great shame he has to pit, but yeah, went too deep there into turn 3, I believe it was.
Yeah, turn 3. So we get a nice helicopter view here. Lewis has already disposed of AMS, and now he's catching with those tyre advantage. Well, I'll tell you what, he could still get a podium, you know, if he has enough pace. He needs to dispose of Aaron quickly. Aaron goes defensive, but will he pit? Well, so Aaron's definitely not pitting. Well, if he switches now, they're both going to die. But down the inside, it's a relatively routine move from Lewis. But now Lewis has a 5.6 seconds, so he can get maybe up to 4th. And then he'll need to find another 5 seconds to get to JD, but he's got the tyre advantage at this point. So AMS, he couldn't get the job done on Aaron last time, but now he's going to try to get past Aaron again. Aaron, one of the best defenders on the PSGL grid. Hellboy's moved up ahead of Cliffy.
And right behind this pair is Joel and JackLacey are still going at it.
I'm just going to have a quick look at, so Cliffy getting up to the back of Hellboy. That could be an interesting contest. We're going to have a succession of some DRS drag races, I think. Firstly, Aaron and AMS, and Joel and JackLacey. And then behind them, Cliffy and Hellboy. I definitely want to see how that little battle turns out, because Hellboy, as we know, can be very aggressive defensively. Sometimes a little too aggressive. But he never backs out. Oh, and AMS cuts the corner. God. Well, that was a very...
What he was thinking more.
Well, that was a poorly executed move by the Red Bull driver, but luckily Aaron able to save the car. That was not a good move from the Red Bull driver. Getting a little frustrated. Oh, and AMS has just taken off half of his wing. He's pushed too hard. And he's pushed too hard, and that's going to allow Joel and JackLacey to catch up. So there's still more places.
AMS pits.
Yeah, AMS pits, so that's going to promote Lickle back up the order. JackLacey still can't get past Joel's Renault, so Joel has really set up the car brilliantly for these straights. Perfectly, as far as he's concerned, against JackLacey. So AMS gets a new wing, and to be honest, he's going to probably drop, behind Paudie as well. Cliffy, right behind Hellboy. They can't pass him. So there's a few tight contests going on. But I'm gonna switch to Aaron, because he's gonna have his teammate to battle now. Will we see some team orders? Well, Aaron and Joel know each other very well, so they'll have a lot of respect for each other.
Oh, JackLacey, yeah, he's corner cut that. His rear wires hit the wall there, and he's spun around. He's lost his wing.
More problems. So the likes of Cliffy and AMS may still yet get some points out of this. Lickle up to 8th, and he is definitely on the move. It's the closest on-track battle, and this is all helping JD, who's still maintains a 4-second gap. Lewis is rapidly catching Maxi, but I think he's going to run out of laps in terms of JD. So JD's just got to keep it together, and he's got his first podium. I'm not sure ever in F1, someone might have to fill me in on that. I don't think he got a podium last season. Was he even F1 last season?
He had some couple of rally races in F6 when he first came into PSGL, which he obviously dominated. But apart from that,
yeah, JD wasn't even in F1 last season.
He went to F2. I was in F2, I believe. Just a quick break on the left-hand side of the screen where all JackLacey retires.
JackLacey, he's had enough.
On the left-hand side of the screen there, where it's got all the drivers, is there a little, like a white little bar next to someone's name?
A white bar?
Yeah, it's like a horizontal vertical bar on the end. Awesome. No, okay, I've got that on my screen. Don't know what it is. Anyway,
I see nothing like that. Usually you'd see that in qualifying to indicate they haven't set a time yet. So I'm not sure why that. I'm not sure why that would be here. So then, lap 19, Ash Best, Skeevan, JD, top 3. Big gaps between them. So I think any on-track action we're going to get is going to be in the midfield. So Aaron and Joel about to go into combat, and Cliffy extremely close to HELLBOY. He's got the inside for the end of sector 2. HELLBOY goes bravely late on the brakes. He's got inferior tyres, and yeah, 3-second penalty for Cliffy.
Yeah,
he's desperate to get a point here. Cliffy runs wide. He'll be wanting to get out of Baku as quickly as possible when this race is over.
If he can dispatch him quickly enough, he can catch up to the back of Paudie as well.
Yeah, and Cliffy's not going to wait. He's going to go for a move down at the end of sector 2. HELLBOY again, excellent traction out of the corner. So I'm going to stick with this because this could end in something horrible. But hopefully Cliffy. HELLBOY moves to the left to go defensive. Oh, he squeezes Cliffy, but Cliffy braves it out. HELLBOY wasn't trying to squeeze in wall, but he was just trying to say, you know, keep going if you dare. But now Cliffy takes 10th place. He needs to build a gap though to HELLBOY, because if HELLBOY has no penalties, he'll lose that 10th place. But he may salvage a point yet.
Joe has made his way past Aaron, even though he's showing in 13th place on my screen, but he's got past Aaron.
Yeah, well, Aaron's front wing is in horrible shape. He's missing half of it. So that Lickle may have half a chance to get up to him. So I'll keep an eye on the gaps between them. Lewis has closed the gap to 3.5 seconds to Maxi, but he's not really getting enough time. What's the gap now? 2.9. Okay, he might get onto Maxi on the penultimate, maybe last lap. He's got to get a move on. He's got the tyre advantage. Although, is he missing some wing as well? From my angle, it looks like he's missing some end plates. Well, if he is, that would definitely end his challenge. So has HELLBOY actually kept behind Cliffy? Indeed he has. So Paudie's made a mistake somewhere because he's lost a lot of time on this lap, and now Cliffy is right on the back of him, just outside DRS range. So we've got 23 watching now, so thanks very much guys. If you enjoyed this race, then leave a like, that would be much appreciated. So Cliffy, can he get an extra points? Might all count by the end. And, well, incredibly, if he gets, he could even extend his lead. I haven't worked out the tables yet. JackLacey retired, so Ash Best will be the big winner here. And in fact, as it stands, Ash Best will be heading to second in the championship.
I'll tell you what. If it's typical, if he wins this race, I'll do my commentary on the screen because I pretty much interviewed him every single race last season, and yeah, he's going to win another race, but I'm doing commentary.
Yeah, now Was not going to have interviews tonight, but I actually have more time than I thought I would. I thought this race was going to take a bit longer, but thankfully it's all okay. So we're going to have some interviews later on, so stick around for that once the race is over. So HELLBOY in 12th, AMS has moved up to 11th ahead of him, so we could get AMS versus Cliffy for the final championship point in the closing stages. Cliffy's on worn soft tyres, AMS on fresh super soft, so that could be a fantastic battle to end this race, because there's quite big gaps between most of the top 10. So what Cliffy will want to do is get past Paudie and try and put some space between himself and AMS, because AMS is rapidly catching these two.
Nickel just about 3 seconds away from Aaron, so he could pick up another place.
Yeah, well, Aaron's half his front wing's missing, so he's going to be going awfully slow, and Nickel's on super soft tyres. I think Lewis did indeed have some wing damage when I looked at him earlier, because he hasn't really caught up to Maxi as quickly as I thought he would.
But still a decent haul of points from the Haas drivers this race. They will make some gains in the constructors, just not as much as they want to.
And now look at this, Cliffy has an opportunity to move up to 9th position. AMS is closing in, but he has a look, but no, he's not close enough. But now it looks as though JD is losing an enormous amount of time, because last few laps he had a 4-second advantage. Last 4 laps though he's lost a chunk of time. Maxi is closing on JD in the battle for the podium. Oh, it's the pressure starting to get to the Williams driver, I wonder. He's in uncharted territory here as far as F1 goes. But we're going to stick with this freeway scrap for 9th place. Cliffy had a half look for a move down the cars section, but that would be suicidal. Never going to overtake there. Too wide, impossible through that section. That'll work. Now, can AMS get in touch with these two? Oh, and Paudie gets a really poor exit towards the end of sector 2. We haven't seen any free wide yet, but I think we could see it between these three. AMS, 3 different tyre compounds, mediums on Paudie, softs on Cliffy, super softs on AMS. Here we go then. Cliffy goes to the left, defensive. AMS will pick up the slipstream from Paudie ahead. They slight squeeze. Paudie might get a overtake on both sides, but actually he had pretty good straight line speed. Cliffy goes defensive. AMS round the outside and takes 10th place. Maxi now 1.5 seconds behind. AMS now. Well, he's got a massive advantage in tyres. Paudie's not going to have much to defend with, so assuming AMS gets the braking right, he should take this position. AMS gets it done. Up to 9th he goes. So now Cliffy will be trying to get past Paudie again, and it's a mistake from Paudie, and I think Cliffy's going to get it. So Paudie was in the points when he crossed the line for this lap, but now he's out of the points, and he might even be overtaken by HELLBOY as well. So Lickle in the meantime has passed Iran. AMS is a massive 20 seconds behind Iran, so I don't think we're going to see those two battling again, not in 3 laps anyway. So
Lickle might pick up another place as well from Joel.
Indeed, he's 2.6 seconds behind. So JD struggling to hang on. I'm not going to check penalties at this point, we're just going to see this play out. I haven't seen Maxi's name on the penalties, which is frankly a minor miracle given how many he gets, but I don't think JD has been either, so I think it will be decided on track. And HELLBOY is overtaking Paudie, so well, 9th to 12th in the space of a lap for Paudie. Desperately unlucky. On the wrong tyre for the end of the race. Medium's very slow at this stage.
And he pits. I think he might have called that a day.
Yeah, wing damage perhaps, or is he just going to retire? He has got a chunk of his wing missing as well, so that would explain his lack of pace. So he must have damaged it just before everybody caught up. So we've had 4 retirements, and there's some big names in that retirement list. JackLacey, Big C, Jamie. 9 PSGL F1 championships between these 3. Talk about the Wall of Champions last week. Baku's gained some notable scouts today. Greeny out as well. One of the quickest drivers on the F1 grid. So Lickles has indeed caught up to the back of Joel, so he could still salvage 6th place. No, just...
Looks like Karen.
No, sorry, I was just asking. I was answering a question from Fish in the chat. No, everyone got through clean actually.
I was just going to say, JD's got 2 laps to keep that podium spot. He's going to have a mountain task in his hands, I think, but I'm kind of rooting for him. It'd be shame for him to not to get that podium, for me anyway.
Yeah, it would be a great story. Bit of lag from Joel ahead, on board with Lickle at the moment. So, penultimate lap then of this PSGL F1 Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It's been eventful, no question about it.
Lewis is caught up to this battle between JD and Maxi as well. He's not too far behind.
Yeah, JD really struggling. I don't know how long he's been on those softs for. Oh, and JD went really quick into the car section, and he was inches away from disaster. But that, that has actually allowed him to get slightly further away from MaxiLuca. So, but I don't know. I don't think. Oh, and he goes.
In his arsenal.
He locks the brakes up, and that's going to allow Maxi to get closer and closer to him. But Lewis is right there as well. This could go right to the final lap. We could get a Lance Stroll and Valtteri Bottas situation on the line at this rate. Maxi's definitely not close enough in terms of the slipstream at the moment. He'll get DRS, he's in DRS range. Voltex and Joel battling away there. But JD, for now, keeps Maxi behind. Final lap then. Ash Best well on his way to his 2nd victory of the season in F1, which will put him into 2nd place and put him back into the title fight. But we're going to stick on board with JD and Maxi. And Joel under pressure from Lickle as well. There's no other battles on track, so for the final podium position, JD, reminder, he retired 5 out of 6 races. His best finish, 6th place, back in Austria, but he's on for a sensational podium, assuming he didn't get any penalties or he matches Maxi. But hopefully it's settled on track. But I'm going to wait for JD to get through the car section first in case anything happens, and then I'm going to just check on Ash Best, because he's about to cross the line to win this particular race. 19 people watching, so thanks a lot for that. Hope you've enjoyed it. So Ash Best heading towards the line. Skeevan, haven't seen much of him on the screen, but he's had a brilliant showing today. Skeevan probably should have got a podium at Malaysia, but he just really screwed it up. So Ash Best heads to the line. We're going to instantly switch back to JD. Ash Best, what is Ash Best doing? He nearly did a frizzo. He literally nearly did a frizzo. But we're going to go back to JD. Can Luca get any close to him? Well, Ash Best really risked it there. I don't like it when people do that, to be honest. I think it's unprofessional, but JD crosses the line and he gets the podium. What a brilliant performance from JD. 3rd place, his first ever F1 podium. Maxi in a good 4th. Lewis, a good recovery in 5th. Joel, where's he going to finish? And for some reason everyone's doing Frizzo impressions, but not retiring, thankfully. Aaron, yet another point for him. AMS in 9th, and Cliffy will get the final point, assuming. So Cliffy, despite this horror show of a race for the championship leader, looks like he's going to continue his point score streak along with Aaron to be the only 2 drivers who had scored points in every race this season. Cliffy takes 10th. HELLBOY will cross the line in 11th. And Oogie, well, he's had a another race to forget. It's just been a miserable season for him. 12th for Oogie.
Yeah.
It's the 13th. A big congratulations to Asbest and Skeevan. Excellent races, but JD kept it off the barriers. And a fantastic podium for him. What he'll have to say, I'm not sure. I don't even know if he has a mic or not. So Paudie, our final finisher. So we're going to have a look at the podium. So then, Asbest puts himself back into title contention with a fantastic victory here at Baku. Skeevan, a brilliant podium for Toro Rosso, but I think we can all agree that the driver of the day is the Williams guy, just like Lance Stroll did in real life. An unexpected podium here at Baku, and he will not forget this result in a hurry, and maybe this is the start of something special from him for the rest of the season. So then, here are our race results. Asbest takes the victory, Skeevan in second, JD in third, Maxi in fourth, Lewis in fifth, Joel in sixth, Lickle in seventh, Iran in eighth, AMS in ninth. Cliffy takes the final championship point, a race he'll want to get as quickly as possible, and 3 other finishers in HELLBOY, Oogie and Paudie. And then we had 4 retirements, including JackLacey, Big C and Jamie, and Greeny. Big casualties from this race, and it's going to really affect the championship standings. Asbest moving up to second in the standings.
So, interestingly enough, only 2 drivers got penalties during that race, which is pretty good going. But then again, it is a track, but it's hard to get penalties in the first place.
Right. So we're not going to have JD speaking to us, unfortunately, because his mic is broke. But I am going to just quickly invite Asbest and Skeevan. So give me a sec. So, initial thoughts on that race, JP?
Hello.
Yeah, it was an exciting race. Bit sad to see that battle between Ash and Lickle end in the way it did. That would have been a great sight to see that carry on lap after that. But nevertheless, an enjoyable race to watch. And congratulations to all the podiums. Yeah.
So, Skeevan unfortunately has to go, and JD's mic is broke, but we are joined by the race winner and his second win of the season for McLaren Honda. We have Asbest, who had a good battle with Lickle, but sadly Lickle couldn't keep it off the barrier, so we didn't get to see an epic scrap between those two. But Asbest, you're up to second in the standings and perhaps back in title contention, so that must be a brilliant feeling for you right now.
Yeah, oh my god. I'm a bit, well, I'm happy, definitely, that I've just jumped from 52nd and, well, broken my bad race streak from yesterday. Not yesterday, last week. But yeah, I'm really happy that now I'm up in second. The win really helped me out a lot.
Indeed. So, were there any real sort of issues in the race, or was it quite a comfortable race in the end once some of your rivals had problems?
It was actually pretty clean race. Cliffy got front wing damage, I believe, which I was at first a bit happy, but at the same time I was really just sorry for him. And then Lickle got damage after I overtook him, so yeah, it was a pretty straightforward just drive to the finish after that.
Yeah, so a big congratulations to you, Asbest, on your victory today, and of course to the rest of the podium, Skeevan and JD. So we had a few technical issues tonight, but I hope you all enjoyed that. So we will be at Great Britain Silverstone for the British Grand Prix in a week's time, and trust me, you won't want to miss it, given the classic we had at that particular track last season. One of the best races I've ever seen. So thanks to you, JP, for jumping in to be my co-com tonight.
No worries, I'm available anytime you need me.
And we will see you next week. Thanks for watching. See you next time.